If in your spiritual walk you sometimes feel like this, like your head is bowed down so low that you can't raise it to fix your eyes on Jesus, you have a tendency even to fall off the racetrack from time to time, the pastor's words are really relevant for you. They're really relevant for all of us. And I want to focus on three of his exhortations here in this passage. Thinking about how do we deal as Christians who are experiencing challenges, suffering, discipline from God. How do we respond to God? He gives us three bits of advice, three exhortations. He says, one, for any of you who are suffering and going through something difficult, here's the first thing you need to do. Consider your Savior and how he suffered. Two, he says, don't forget this one thing. This is what's really easy for us to forget in the midst of our suffering, but here's what you cannot forget, what you must not forget in the midst of your suffering. It's that you are still God's child, even though you're suffering. And the third thing he says is, in the midst of suffering, we have to be really careful with. What we have to beware of is bitterness. Oftentimes, suffering and God's discipline can lead to bitterness. And so those three things, right? Consider Jesus' suffering, remember that you're God's children, and beware of bitterness.